What's good, guys? It's your boy Vacation Time with Ryan. In today's video, I'm going to talk about what I would have done different if I can go back in time and be going to the Dominican Republic for the first time. All right, so if I can go back and redo my first time going to DR. Now, I'm making this video because a lot of people still contact me to this day saying, hey, I'm going to DR for the first time. I've watched your videos. Where should I go? What should I do? I get this is a very common question, and I just want to tell you what I would have done if I could redo my first time, knowing what I know now, just to make it a better experience. All right, because no matter what, if you're first time somewhere, you're gonna probably make some rookie mistakes. That's life. It's all good. So, first thing, I'm gonna give you five key things, right? I'll probably give you a little more. And then at the end, stay tuned to the end, because at the end, I'm going to give you a bonus super flex. All right. So let's get it. All right. So the first thing for me, what I would have done different is I would have made sure I was single. What I mean by that, a lot of brothers or sisters, a lot of you get on these dating apps and you meet somebody in the country that you're going to. And by the time you land, you're already taken. Like, you're already in a full-blown relationship, or you're just committed to one person, which means they're going to spend the entire trip with you. They're going to show you the ropes, and they're going to kind of train you on how they want you to see their country, their city, etc. And you're kind of relying on that one person for your safety, to show you around, for everything. And then you could be falling in love and all of that before you even get a chance to explore the country on your own. All right. So first thing, I would have made sure I was single. I would have made sure I wasn't really talking to nobody. Maybe a friend here or there, because I do believe in what we call pregame and meeting people before you land, just for safety, for people that know the lay of the land, someone to call if you need some solid information, and someone you could trust. But me, I would have made sure I was single before I landed in the Dominican Republic in Santo Domingo for my first time. That's the first thing, all right? The second thing, number two, I would have made sure I learned Spanish, or as much as I can possibly learn before landing. Now, I did a little bit of practice, a couple words here and there, but I was not taking learning Spanish seriously, because, you're like, I'm not going to learn a whole language before this trip. But let's be real. A lot of us were not really trying, or being lazy with trying to learn. Might do a little studying here and there, and it shows. You could tell a person really ain't trying by how they speak. But hard down every day, like 3 hours a day, immersing yourself in the culture, in the language, I would have did that. That's the second thing I would have done differently for my first time going to DR. All right, I would have learned way more Spanish and more about the culture as well. All right, number three, I would have learned the lay of the land better. I would have learned more about the cities. So I would have learned more about where I was gonna be, Santo Domingo, the different parts of Santo Domingo. I would have learned more about. I would have learned more about wherever I planned on going during the trip, and I would have learned how to move around alone. Sometimes your first time, some of you guys, it's your first time having a passport. It's your first time leaving the country. So you kind of lean on that person that you're with, especially if it's someone that you're dating. So you can get caught up like that as well. But you want to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, because what if you figure out the person that you were dating and you're falling for? What if you figure out this person is a fraud, and now you got to be alone, and now you're sitting in your Airbnb the whole time because you don't know nothing? So learn how to move on your own. It's good to have people like native Dominicans that are on your side, but you also want to know how to move alone, because a lot of people are going to be trying to use you. They're going to know it's your first time. You barely speak any Spanish. So just be mindful of that as well. Learn how to, move around by yourself and stuff like that. That's another thing I would have done, and that would have been number three. Just be more knowledgeable, so I don't have to depend on the person that I'm gonna be with for every single little thing. You want to be independent as well, because if you know more, you're less likely to get played with. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and safety. Safety is always first. So just make sure everything on this list, you keeping safe while you're doing it. Me personally, I've been traveling, right? So, quick side story. What made me even comfortable to go to DR in the first place, right, was me going to Jamaica alone, because I used to travel with ex-girlfriend or family. When I finally went to Jamaica alone, right, I was like, oh, I can do this or whatever. Like, okay. And that's when I had more bravery to go to DR, right? And I started going to DR before the big explosion of like content everywhere online, these little TikTok clips and Instagram clips of DR, these viral YouTube videos. I wasn't even looking on social media about DR. My cousin is the one who put me on the DR, and he's the reason why I ended up going. So I went before that big boom during the pandemic of like viral content of these countries, Colombia, DR, and etc. So I went before all of that. All right. Anyways, the fourth thing I would do differently, if I can go back to my first time going to DR, is I would make a list of things that I want to do while I'm there. So while I'm there, I could always go back to that list. I want to make sure I cross something off that list every day. So I kind of have an idea of what I'm going to be doing throughout my first trip. So I'm not really winging it and depending on the people around me to kind of show me around. Like, I kind of know what I want to do. Try to get prices of things that you want to do so you don't get what they call gringo taxed, which is probably going to happen to you anyways, but at least you could try to minimize that risk by knowing the price of something. And you're like, hey, I know this costs this. So, you try to charge me 5,000 pesos when I seen online that this costs 2,000, then they gonna know, okay, he know what he talking about. All right, make a list before your first time of all the things you want to do. And you could cross them off as you go along. All right, that's the fourth thing I would have done different. Number 5. Now this is a big one. I would argue this is the most important one on this list. Why? Because doing this could cover all the things that I talked about. All right, and that's book a consultation with an expert, someone experienced in where you're going, regardless of where you're going. So that's what I would have done different for number 5. I would have booked a consultation with someone that visits frequent or an expat that lives there, someone that obviously speaks your language, not a Dominican that's born and raised there, but someone like a foreigner that visits frequently, so he can give you the lay of the land and what to look out for as a foreigner. All right, that person should be telling you to learn Spanish and not to fall in love with the first woman you see, and know all these different things. So that person is gonna put you on to all the things that you need to look out for, etc. So find someone solid that has experience and book a consultation. A 50, whatever, however much that person charged, even if it's $100, $50, whatever, book it, because that could save you thousands of dollars, because you could make a mistake that could run you $1,000 or $500. When you in these other countries, whatever other country, the rules are different. It's not like the United States. It's not like Canada. It's not like whichever country you're from, cash is king. You could end up in a situation that could cost you some money. So book a consultation, save yourself, and that person should give you a lot of game. Take notes when you're doing your consultation. Write down notes. That's number 5 of what I would have done differently if I can go back in time, going to the Dominican Republic for the very first time. All right. Like, I have a lot of little moments that I think back on, and I'm like, oh, what was I thinking in that moment? Like, I was so, like, just new. Like, I was so wild. Like, all right. So, I can go on forever about things that I would have done differently, but it's cool. We're here now. You know, I haven't made a big enough of mistake to where it's costing me forever. You feel what I'm saying? Because like some dudes, they go over there, they get someone pregnant, and that's a forever thing, you know. And you know, it's a blessing, you know, bringing a life into this world. But like, if that wasn't your plan, then that's something that you gonna hold forever. So you just gotta be careful, or other situations, or worse, you could have yourself in some danger, you know, etc., etc. So just these are the things that I would do if it was going to be my first time. Now, as far as a consultation, I would recommend you find someone that you know you could relate to, that you could see yourself like kind of like, all right, I can see myself talking to this person, and book it with that person. If you want to book a consultation with me, you can. Just hit me up, DM me on Instagram, or email ks905tv@gmail.com. All right. And another thing I wouldn't do for my first trip is I wouldn't rent a car. My first time, I rented a car. I thought my ex-partner was going to be driving. And then when it came time, she froze up. She was like, you drive. You know, I'll just tell you where to go. And I was like, dang, I wasn't planning. But yeah, I wouldn't rent a car. Now, I was fine because I've driven in Miami you know, half my life. So I was comfortable, you know, but it is wild out there. I wouldn't recommend you getting a car your first trip, renting a car. Just take Uber. You don't want to be in a situation you don't speak Spanish, or maybe you do speak Spanish, but you just don't want to be in that situation, because getting in an accident over there is totally different, even if you have insurance from the rental car company. All right? So I wouldn't recommend renting a car your first trip. It's another thing to keep in mind. All right? Trying to make sure I didn't leave anything out. Oh, a bonus tip. I did promise you guys a bonus tip if you made it to the end. By the way, if you did make it to the end, drop either a 100 emoji or a fist up emoji in the comments to let me know you made it to the end. Questions, comments, concerns, leave a comment. Don't forget to hit that like button on the video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And if you're not new, welcome back. I appreciate you spending the time to watch this video. Bonus, if you don't want to spend money on a consultation, I'm gonna give you a gem on how you can get a lot of information for free. Is you get in a WhatsApp group and you ask these guys that been there 100 times, and a lot of you guys are already in groups. Ask them, just comment in the group, hey, going to so and so for my first time. Any tips? And brothers are typically cool in these groups, and they'll give you tips, man, and they'll tell you stuff. Join a community, join a Facebook group, join a WhatsApp group. All right? So I have a Facebook group. I typically link in the description. My WhatsApp group, it's not free, but it's basically free. It's very super cheap, but it's extremely valuable. So we have an all men's group, and we have a group that actually have women from other countries where you can practice your Spanish with these ladies and maybe become friends that you can have a friend when you're in these countries. Do your own vetting. Always vet people you meet on your own. Don't trust the fact that, we do a little bit of vetting before we let someone in the group. But do your own vetting. Always video call people and talk on video call before you go to meet them. Do not meet people in person you have not spoke on video for at least like 10 minutes with, or at least 3 times. Don't be meeting these people you haven't even got on video with, because you might pull up as a whole different person, a different situation, etc., etc. So safety always first. Make sure safety is always first. I made a video called Ryan's Law on like being safe traveling. Watch that and just make sure you got all the safety stuff down pat first. All right. So that's the bonus. You know, if you don't want to book an actual consultation, get in a WhatsApp group, talk to the man down. All right. I just want to make sure I didn't leave anything out. If I did leave anything out, I'm human. Put it in the comments and I'll answer it. All right. It's your boy Vacation Time with Ryan. I appreciate you taking the time out to watch this video. Quick update on me as far as travels. I have an event. I did an event last year. If you missed it, or if you're new here, I'm doing an event. It's going to be in October. So if you want to kind of like schedule a trip around that, if you want to make it to the event, October. All right, I'm gonna be doing it on my birthday. It's early October. I'll give you dates a little bit further, but at least now you know in your head if you want to make it, if you want to pull up, then you know it's in October. So you can schedule a trip around then. Got plenty of time to start scheduling that trip. Thank you guys very much. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, man. We're going up on the Instagram, on Facebook, TikTok, all that. All right, we out, man. Peace.